All right, what's up, guys? We're live Saturday, Monday, July 24th, episode 18 of A Few Good Mics. Nate, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I can't believe I'm doing this 18 times already. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's a good couple months in. But, man, did we have a pretty packed weekend. We'll start off with the biggest news in college football recently. Hugh Freeze forced to resign from Ole Miss because he's too busy calling hookers. Escort service. I don't know what the deal with that is. So they apparently called an escort service 13 times, which she just said, "Oh, just the wrong number." But nope. Obviously, that wasn't the case. So now he's gone. Ole Miss, less than 2 months before the season's supposed to start, has to look for a new coach. We'll start.
And they're under how many sanctions? I saw someone in Sports Center the other day of how many sanctions they're like up for just.
Well, yeah, because they're in the middle of sort of recruiting violation investigations and now this. So, I'll see. Do you have any quick points about this sort of scandal itself?
Well, I mean, it is a little surprising, but not really surprising because it comes from the SEC, and I think SEC uses tactics that are a little out of the ordinary to lure in recruits and to lure in, I guess, their coach's pleasure as well. I mean, I can understand, one call and an escort service on the team phone, but it's like we live in the world of cell phones. You would think, if you're gonna make one of those personal calls, you do it on your damn cell phone. It's just
you don't even have to use a cell phone. Do you think the guy could get like a prepaid phone to just handle all his like
right. You can get a track
on?
phone. You can get a track phone, and they would everything he has. They wouldn't have to track his phone. They wouldn't have to do anything. Just get a track phone. Get your 100 minutes with a hooker on whatever.com, and it's like those corny sex talk websites you hear about. I mean, just kind of a blow to the SEC. I mean, I think Ole Miss will be okay. I mean, I've already heard they might be bringing in Les Miles, which I think would be the best damn thing they could do. And I think Les Miles would love to stick it to LSU for getting rid of him in the first place. And I mean, I think Ole Miss. I mean, they haven't really been dominant for a while. I mean, they've been kind of always a middle of the road SEC team. So I mean, I don't think it's the end of the world for them, but I think, like you said, 2 months before the season, oh shit, guys, we got to find a new head coach. Our coach was being a pervert and freaking decided to call an escort service. So I mean, how does that look with all your recruits? And I agree. I saw something on the Herd the other day with Kyle Herd that I can't remember what his name is, but he said that all Ole Miss players should be dismissed or be able to transfer and play right away. I mean, I thought that was
that makes sense.
I mean, I think it does make sense. I mean, you just think about it. I mean, all the sanctions they're under. I mean, I'm guessing they can't play in a bowl game. Am I right? I mean,
I don't think anything's official yet.
But I mean, I think that's it's gonna come down to. It's gonna be kind of like Penn State a few years ago, where the allegations got to him with Sandusky and whatever, and I think it just ended up to bite them in the ass. And it's like that's why they let all those 5-star recruits and all those other guys transfer like USC or wherever where they could play right away versus I don't know. I think it's right to let them transfer, but I mean I think they should have them transfer outside of the SEC because I don't think they should just all right. You can go to Alabama. You can go to it's like that's the problem with the SEC. Like it's so dominated by like Alabama and Auburn and Florida and teams like that where it just doesn't make any sense. Okay, well, I'm going to transfer to Alabama. Okay, it's just kind of it's just one of those things.
Yeah, well, I know when happens in other schools too, where it's just like you don't want them playing like teams that transferring to teams that you're playing against or like in the conference. But shit, they're not like I don't know the right like term for it, but they're not like they can't be like that in control of someone's like future if they want to go to. I'm sure if they were committed to Ole Miss in the first place, they probably wouldn't be starting for Alabama.
True.
But if like let's say they want to transfer to some mid-tier SEC school, if they wanted to transfer
Vanderbilt
to like Tennessee or Vanderbilt, something like that, like a school like that, they should be able to. But yeah, being able to let them play right away, that I think you should be able to do that for any transfer, I think, really.
Or I think they should be able to transfer to my own personal favorite coach, Mr. Lane Kiffin. Fly like an owl this year, baby.
Yeah, go
Florida Atlantic to the ship.
So it's.
But really though, that Lane Kiffin paid me to say that on air. So shout out to the Owls and Owl football this year.
So we'll use that to switch to who do you think that Ole Miss should go for now that Hugh Freeze is out? Apparently they'll just promote one of their inside guys as like a interim head coach, but so I'm sure they won't like hire anyone until after this season, like official. But who do you think they should go for?
I mean, obviously I said Les Miles. I still think that's a shot in the water, but I think, as far as like mid, I could see them pulling from a mid-major. Like, I mean, like I don't know, like a kind of like a Florida Atlantic, like that conference, or like I mean, I don't really have anyone in mind besides Les Miles, but I mean, as far as a mid-major, a coach that obviously, I can see they could probably pull someone from the MAC. They could probably pull someone from like somebody that's obviously learn their turf, or they've been in an SEC like as a coordinator or something. Pull someone back that has Ole Miss ties and put them back in that offense and defense, and see how they do. And maybe they're at a mid-major. I don't know, but obviously I think the most obvious answer would be Les Miles, but it's that's kind of a big name to throw out there when the scrutiny of your team is kind of on a downfall. Is Les Miles going to want to go to a team that's got all these sanctions, all these allegations, and it's like, all right, well, what the hell is the point of me being here if I can't play in a bowl game for 3 years? Like, it's kind of unpredictable with what the NCAA is going to handle as far as like penalties and probation and suspensions and shit. But I think as far as that's the obvious choice. But I think if you go any mid-major, give a coach like that a chance. Like, I think you'd be okay.
Yeah, I think if you look, I think it's funny that after he resigned, it was like Lane Kiffin started following a bunch of Ole Miss accounts on Twitter. I don't know if you saw that. But I thought that was hilarious. I don't think Ole Miss will go anywhere near Lane Kiffin just because it's Lane Kiffin. He hasn't had much success anywhere as a head coach. But I don't know. You look at a year down the line, what if I could see I know it's only a year off his new job, but let's say Charlie Strong does some good things in South Florida. You take a look at him. His sort of personality, I think, would fit in the SEC, like their style of play.
You know who I could see coming back to the SEC is Penn State's coach, James Franklin.
Yeah, could do that too. But with Penn State being they're going to be ranked in the top 5, I'm sure, to start the year. I don't know why he'd leave.
But it's been a thing. Big Ten coaches will resort to the SEC. Just look at our old guy Brett Bielema.
Yeah, that's true.
He's like, well, I'm a top tier Big Ten coach. I want to go coach in the SEC. They'll probably pay me more. And I could do have a 500 job, and I'll still get paid more. And my fucking, it's just, it's been done before. I don't know why Big Ten coaches do it, because when you look at it, not even on like the head coaching side, but if you look at Aranda, he went from Wisconsin, I think, is making $500,000-600,000. And what did LSU pay him? I think it was
like 1.2. They doubled his.
Yeah, it's just like one of those things. I mean, I did a little research the other day. I mean, they pay their coaches a lot more in the Big Ten. They pay or they spend more money on their athletes than they do their own students and shit. But obviously that's obvious. But compared to, they did a ranking compared to the Big Ten, and it's like the SEC in 2015, I believe they said they spent on football players $163,000 in recruiting dollars a player, versus the Big Ten was 40% of that. So Big Ten probably spent about $65,000-70,000 on a player, versus the SEC spent like $163,000 on a player, which is just bizarre to me. But
you mentioned one name, and I think another guy that Ole Miss should look at is Dave Aranda. I mean,
yeah,
his defenses have always been in the top 10 in the country since, like Wisconsin, and then even LSU last year. And so I think that might be a good choice. I think if you take a look at some maybe some NFL people, some coordinators that might want to jump down, look at Steve Sarkisian. He's
got Alabama ties.
He was the offensive specialist coach or whatever when Lane Kiffin was the OC, but he left to be the Falcons offensive coordinator, fill Kyle Shanahan's spot. I don't know.
Zero experience.
The only way I would see him leaving that job is to get a head coaching job, and I don't think he'll get an NFL head coaching job anytime soon, at least for a few years yet. But I think if Ole Miss wants to go for Sarkisian, that could be all right.
I could also see Muschamp as an option too.
Muschamp, where's he? He's in South Carolina now, isn't he?
I thought he got cut loose from South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. But, I mean, obviously I don't see anyone from the SEC moving to another SEC, but, I mean, somebody of that nature, a coach that, hasn't been, I don't see, here's why I don't see Les Miles. I don't see a coach that's already been a coach in the SEC, coming back. Okay, Ole Miss I can understand, because he'd want to stick it to LSU every year. But, I mean, he's already a proven coach. I mean, he could frickin' retire now, and he'd go down as one of the best coaches to ever coach in the SEC. So, I mean, I like to see, a younger guy get in there, like I said, a Franklin, or like you kind of said, a Dave Aranda. I don't think he would take the job, especially being that he just got a big paycheck from LSU. But if we were talking 2 years down the road, I think it would be much more of a destination job for him.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, obviously, what you're doing, maybe if you go with someone young, by the time you sort of build the program up, Nick Saban's gone, and then you don't got to worry about him. So
if you get rid of Saban, the SEC's built wide open.
Exactly. So you got anything left on that?
No, we can leave it at that.
All right.
I think we over-talked our welcome as far as Ryan Rebels football. So
yeah. So the next biggest piece of info, will switch sports. Kyrie Irving apparently wants out of Cleveland. Doesn't want to play with LeBron anymore. Wants to be the man somewhere not in Cleveland. So I mean, a lot of stuff has come out. Apparently, LeBron leaked it out. Kyrie's pissed. LeBron is now super pissed at Kyrie for wanting out, and now he's looking forward to it. Is what apparently I think I got what Bleacher Report's saying. So I don't know what was your initial thoughts on Kyrie wanting out.
I mean, I can understand. I mean, he wants to be his own guy. He doesn't want to be the LeBron. It's like you go into a bar and you're looking for a chick. You know, you got to have a good fucking wingman, but your wingman's not going to be with you forever because he's going to get drunk. And he's going to find a chick before you do, more than likely. You know, it's like a similar tactic. You know, he's been LeBron's main guy in Cleveland for a few years now, and I mean, you can't really blame him for wanting his own show. Obviously, he's not going to be going to like a big market team, but I mean, a team like I think I mentioned a little earlier, like I mean, I don't know who Minnesota would get rid of, but you know, like a Timberwolves team, like a team that's not really like a even like a Sacramento Kings team. I mean, obviously, I don't know who the hell they could get for him, but like that's like an example of a team. Like I feel like you put Kyrie on the team, they're a whole different team. Like he wants to go to a team and be a playmaker. He doesn't want to go to a team and be just a second piece to their already really good team. He wants to be a leader, which I think, you know, he possesses the tools. I mean, I think we both agree that Kyrie kind of carried the way in the finals. You know, I mean, LeBron obviously was LeBron, but Kyrie had a significant part in that in the finals and, you know, everything like that. So, I mean, I can't blame him for wanting his own show. I think LeBron always has had his own show, and I think he's a great leader. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes I think LeBron can get a little under other players' skin, and I don't know. I mean, not going to bash LeBron because I know Mike will jump on this podcast in about 2 minutes, but I don't know. I mean, he's a good leader, but I think there's just something about him that if you play with him, other players don't like. So that's just my take on it.
And well, if I'm surprised that I've seen some people like bashing Kyrie for leaving just for like requesting trades in general. Like people don't like seeing people demand trades, but isn't this what people have been wanting? Is just for people to try to win on their own. So it's like such a people are such hypocrites thinking about that. It's like I didn't have a problem with Kevin Durant leaving to like not doing his own thing, but join a team where he wanted to go, and now Kyrie's wanting to do something else. It's like, and it's just players taking control of their own career, and I don't know why people aren't more supportive of that.
Well, I mean, I look at it too. I mean, with Kyrie, do you really want to play your whole career being LeBron's wingman? Like, I mean, it's just, you know,
no,
I think
he wants to be. He knows how good he is, and he wants to at least try it out to see, because he's still young. He's not even 25 yet, so he can just go somewhere else, and then if it doesn't work out, then he can always get people to come to him, or he can go somewhere else.
Right, and I think it's too. I mean, with him, I mean, he's so young yet. I mean, if his voyage doesn't work out, jump on a team that you already know. Jump on a different team. Recruit guys. I mean, I think that's like, he could be. That was kind of a little different comparison, but he could be like a Zach Randolph. Like I've just heard a lot about Zach Randolph, that he's like the most likable player in the league, and he's well liked by his other guys on his team. Like he recruits guys to come to when he was in Memphis. He'd be their main guy. And I think, I mean, obviously he's an NBA veteran, but I mean, I think Kyrie does possess that kind of attitude that, hey, come play with me, just versus, I don't know. I mean, you can't hate a guy for wanting his own destiny, his own voyage. So, I mean, I think just having all these people up there, they're like, I mean, we all of us as NBA fans, some of us are checked out, like me and Mike, I know are. We're sick of seeing Warriors, Cavs, Warriors, Cavs, Warriors, Cavs every year. And I think if we could just get someone else in the finals, someone else competing with the Cavs, someone else competing with the Warriors, it makes for better basketball. I mean, NBA's got great ratings, but I think they could have better ratings if they put a team like all of a sudden, say the Sacramento Kings come out of freaking nowhere and make the finals. Like, I mean, that's basketball people would watch because people like to watch the underdog. So, just my take.
Yeah, and it's trying to. What I was going to say. Yep. And I think with Kyrie, like I think people would want to go play with him because he's a good player. And I don't know, it'll be interesting to see where he ends up going. And another thing that I think is playing into this too, because we've been hearing for weeks that LeBron's going to be gone after this year, right?
Right.
That he's not going to sign long term in Cleveland. So Kyrie's thinking, why would I like if I'm going to be the man somewhere? I don't want to be stuck in Cleveland of all places. Like that was why he's like one of the two of the places where he wants to go is either Miami or the Knicks. So it's like why not?
Well, I think the Knicks would be a great fit for him. I've said it a few times. Porzingis is the most underrated player in the NBA. He's the only guy in the NBA that I've heard Knicks fans just trash. Phil Jackson just trash, and it's like he's a good player. I mean, you got a big man Porzingis, you got a good guard in Kyrie. I mean, I'm not saying the Knicks are going to be making the playoffs, but I mean that could be the piece they need to actually get some asses in those seats at Madison Square Garden. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I think with all the other teams like Chicago and Atlanta, blah, blah, like whatever, if they ended up swinging like a Carmelo Anthony for Kyrie deal, I think they could make the playoffs with that, with Kyrie and Porzingis as their main two guys.
I think they. I mean, I don't think they probably be like an 8 or 7, but I mean, still.
They
obviously a start. I mean, if they can get another piece to that puzzle in New York, because New York's just a piece of trash right now with Tim Hardaway Jr. But yeah, I mean, I think they could definitely make a spark. They need a piece or two that's dominant, like Kyrie or somebody along those lines that can play like small forward or something like that. I mean, you got yourself a ball club then.
Yeah, exactly. So then another thing that's playing into this, it was announced today that Derrick Rose will sign with the Cavs. Now for now, he'll be Kyrie's backup. But let's say if he is the backup and Kyrie ends up staying, how do you think that signing works out for them?
I think it's a toss up because I think we've seen Derrick Rose in his prime with the Bulls. We saw him go to New York and not be real relevant at all. I mean, guy's blown out his knee twice already. I mean, it's just one of those things. I think he'll be fine off the bench, but I think if Kyrie does stay, he's just gonna be looking at Rose the whole time, being like just get off, get the hell out of here, like because I mean, especially for what Cleveland signed him for, 1 year, $2.1 million. I mean, we all were Derrick Rose fans 5 years ago. Would we expect in 5 years from now Derrick Rose would sign a 1 year deal for $2.1 million? Like,
no.
Like that is like literally. I mean, to him, I think that's minimum wage. I mean,
well, for NBA standards, yeah.
I think it is. I mean, just the fact that anybody. I mean, granted, I think they could be doing it because names. I mean, not that Cleveland has problems with getting attendance or anything, but I think names in the NBA. If you sign a Derrick Rose to your roster, that's going to put asses in those seats in Cleveland. I mean, just to go watch Derrick Rose, because he used to be dominant. Now he's a has-been. I'll say that loud and clear. But his career, his prime is way past him. He had his couple years of fame, and that's really about it. But
I'll say this: it's if he's the backup and Kyrie's there, and it would work out the best if he was the sixth man coming off the bench. If they trade Kyrie and expect him to start, and then them to have a chance against Golden State,
oh, not even close.
They wouldn't. They'd get swept. So, and I don't think he's a good fit on the court with LeBron. Like you put him on when LeBron's not on the court, so you have because he's not a playmaker and he's not a good shooter really. He can't shoot from the outside. So, and LeBron's not a great 3-point shooter. So, just to have him on the court at the same time, I don't think that's a great fit.
It's not going to be a benefit, that's for sure.
So, I don't know. Like you said, it could go either way, but I don't know, it makes sense for Cleveland either way, just because it's a 1-year deal and you're not paying them that much money.
Right, $2.1 million. I mean, shit. I think my guy Zaza makes more a year than fucking Derrick Rose does.
I think he might actually.
I might actually be right for once.
They signed like $3.5 million, I think, for 1 year.
Oh, Derrick Rose, you're irrelevant compared to Zaza.
First time for everything, eh, Nate? You're getting something right.
Hot take.
And so, next subject we got going on, a little thing that came out today was RG3. Apparently, he's going to be trying out for the Chargers, be their backup quarterback to Phillip Rivers. Let's get some thoughts. Spit it out, Nate.
Well, I think you guys know how I feel about RG3. It's been pretty loud and clear throughout this podcast, throughout our everyday lives. Kind of like Rose has been. Yeah, he can be a quality backup somewhere, but that's about it. His legs are shot. I mean, yeah, if Phillip Rivers goes down, which I mean, you could say there's going to be people out there going to say, well, Phillip Rivers is old. I mean, what if he gets hurt and RG3 just has to he takes the Chargers with all those magnificent receivers they have. Sarcasm, I hope you noticed. To like the promised land. I mean, there's going to be people that are going to say that, but I mean, really, I mean, when you have to spend any bit of time as a quarterback in Cleveland, like your career's over.
Yeah, well, like you said, it's sort of like Derrick Rose. It's just a cheap signing. Try to bring him in. If he works out, great. If not, you can throw him back on the curb. And I mean, their backup now is Kellen Clemens. You think RG3 is going to be better than that, right?
I mean, Kellen Clemens used to be a starter of the New York Football Jets, so people forget about that.
That doesn't mean jack squat.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think we've touched enough on RG3 for the night. So,
yep.
Unless you have any wonderful input on how RG3 can make a difference in the NFL, I mean, I think we can move on.
Well, I think we can move on too. All right, so we will start to wrap things up here with our A Few Good Minutes segment. Nate, do you see anything since the last pod that you want to talk about?
Well, Jordan Spieth is a British Open winner. This is his third major. He tied Jack Nicklaus for the most majors under the age of, I think it was 24. So, I mean, he actually kind of had an up and down round in the final round. So, I mean, for him to come back and kind of, revitalize, himself in that back nine, even though his 13th hole was absolutely miserable because he had a tee shot that literally is like a Mooney shank, and it went all the way to the driving range. So, I mean, for him to redeem himself after that, props to you, Jordan, for getting it done. I was real impressed. Another thing, I was really impressed with the U.S., the way they played at the British Open. Normally, it's dominated by a bunch of Europeans that I don't even know what the hell their name is. So, I mean, it's good to see the U.S. I mean, him and Kuchar were 1 and 2. I mean, Kuchar, although I do have a problem with the British Open fans booing Kuchar. I mean, come on, dude. Guy is he's like the Phil Mickelson out there. Like, he just is a real happy guy, real by the rules kind of guy, a real, family man, and you got to boo him. Like, what the hell is your problem? Get lost. I mean, for Christ's sake, the guy has Skechers as his shoe sponsor. Like, you can't get any better than that. Like, cut the guy some slack, shitheads. That's all I got.
All right. I'll spend my time on something that happened today. It's the annual Packers shareholders meeting. I'm not sure, so I can go. I know you are, Nate.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't go. Why'd they have it on Monday? That's a terrible day.
That is. I didn't think about that.
Like, why not have it on? I think that I've been there in past years. They had it on a Saturday. What are you freaking doing?
And so he, the CEO Mark Murphy, or President Mark Murphy, he brought something up I didn't even think about until he brought it up about how he wants to see the Packers in the Super Bowl, especially this year more than any, because it's going to be played in Minnesota's new stadium.
Oh, I would love that.
And I think that would be hilarious if the Packers won in the Viking Stadium.
I would rip everyone I know in Minnesota's freaking head off for like the next 30 years.
I mean, it's too bad that they couldn't win the first game in that new stadium. But
that would have been nice. But
I mean, a Super Bowl championship there would be a nice consolation.
That would be a great consolation. Plus, I also saw the Packers tried to get the NFL draft to come to Green Bay in 2019, 2020, and 2021. So that's another good Packers stat of the day.
I mean, they're going to have that like big renovation coming in. It'll be ready by then. I think that'd be an awesome place to have it.
I mean, anything's got to be better than Philly, right?
Geez, and the weather's going to be pretty. It's usually good in the summertime here.
Right. I mean, if Philly can hold an NFL draft, Green Bay definitely can.
They should. Definitely should. I mean, they had it in Chicago too. So.
Or shit city. I just like that. I think they honestly. Actually, I don't want us to have the NFL draft because notice the shit teams that are in those cities. That besides Carson Wentz, I just had to throw that out there. Just think about the shit cities that have had the NFL draft last couple of years. Like, I mean, I think next should be Cleveland. They should just definitely bring the NFL draft to Cleveland, and all those diehard Browns fans can take a shit on the freaking concrete in Cleveland because Browns are done for the next 20 years.
No, they should just they've been moving it around the last few years, obviously Chicago, Philly. But if you're going to keep moving it around, Green Bay would be a great place to have it.
I agree.
And back to the Super Bowl thing, obviously the Packers have a great chance to be there. So
they do. I think we got the defense maybe figured out, so we can do that. Hopefully, keyword. But.
All right, so that just about does it for episode 18. A few good mics. I'd like to thank y'all for listening, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on iTunes. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, engage with us on Twitter, and we'll see you next week. Hopefully we'll get the whole crew here.
Hopefully the other two losers actually can chime in and not be just being a bunch of jabronis doing their reports and doing updates to their computers and paying their car payments and all that other crap.
All that garbage. All right. Until next time. See ya.